Hey, there we are. YouTube, you're so slow. Let me just set up my live chat. If you're watching on the replay, you might want to fast forward to the first minute or two, just so I can set up my screen. Kelsers! Let me just set up the screen like really quick here, the computer screen. This has been a really weird day on YouTube. Probably the weirdest day I've ever had, but in a good way. Okay, I got that set to live chat. Let me just set it on my phone as well to all messages so I can see you guys. Turn off my notifications so I don't get any alarms kicking me off. Hey, Poppy's Post, Jewel Giacana, Susan K, Patricia Morano. How you guys doing? It is smoking hot in Los Angeles, and I don't like to go out in the heat. I had to drop off a UPS return, and I had to pay my mailbox fees, and I had to dig all my bills out of my business box. I mean, I needed a chisel to take everything out of my box. Let me change to my computer glasses that I was gifted by Weirdwig. There we go. I knew something didn't look right on the screen. Hey, Nanette. Pauline, hello. Wow. Throwing up the custom emojis. Kelsers. My still temporary mod, but you're still there, baby. And my Pip. One of my Pips is here. You're the first Pippin. You're the first person in today. Wow. That's awesome. Thank you for putting up the April Davis PI YouTube channel membership custom emojis. But yeah, it's hot. I'm just like, whoo. And then I stopped at Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, thinking I'll just, get in there really quick, in and out. But the parking was full. Then the restaurant was full. I had to put on my, my mask just in case, because apparently the big C is out there again. And wait for this just so I could have some dehydration or hydration, not dehydration, hydration. Hey, Cheryl Phillips, or what did I say? Cheryl Phillips. Cheryl P. Who is Cheryl Phillips? Where does this come from? I get dyslexic. I say words that just, I don't even know where they come from. Oh, wow, what a day. Hey, Connie, there's another Pip right there. She. What are my preferred pronouns? She. Why are you asking me that, Jacko? Do I hesitate to ask the question? Remember, everybody here is welcome. But if, you do something weird, we'll have to time you out. Why, am I wearing my man cap or something? Mostly Dallas Helicopters. There's another Pip. I hate you, Pauline. My AC is to open window, cool air for motion. Ah. Happy Friday from the old Pueblo. Kathy X50. Geez, you just killing it on the replays, Kathy X50. I so much appreciate that. Read it close. 95 degrees in the foothills of San Diego. No, thank you. You are a Pip, mostly Dallas Helicopters. Patioberg just arrived. It is a love-hate. Okay, I got to get started on this because, like, the craziest things are happening right now with the channel. I'm here to talk about Nancy Guthrie. But there's other things that are happening behind the scenes that are like, and they're all happening like the same day. Like, I really thank you, Connie. Thank you for the first jewel of the day. You're always coming through, Connie. I saw you, I think it was yesterday, on the Juices video. But I couldn't stay in very long because, like, there's just so many things happening right now with the channel. You're in Washington State. I wish I was. I bet it's cooler there than it is here. Kathy X50 sent the gold coin. Thank you. Like, I don't even know where to start because I did the thumbnail to talk about Nanos, but then some other stuff came out on Nancy. Leanne, thank you for the gold coin. But then I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited to tell you guys what's going on because three milestones are going to probably happen the same day. Pauline, if you're on a mobile device, there's a place to give your jewels. You just hit the little gift box. Here's another pip. Bruce Davis, no relation, says hello, April. Or hi, everyone. Yeah, you have to be on a mobile device, on a vertical live. If you're on a computer, it won't work. But if you're on a mobile device, you'll have it. Nancy Grace is reporting some bombshells, but don't know what they are. That sounds like an old HLL term. Bombshell, breaking news. But, you know, it was filmed a week before, so she used to do it live. But then she always complained that she didn't get to have dinner with her twins. So they started recording these things, you know, when she was on HLN, before she was, you know, on Fox. Which she denied the rumors when that happened because it really was just a rumor at that point. But anyway, that's a different story. Yeah, let me talk about this. First of all, if you're new here, I'm April Davis, PI. I'm a licensed California private investigator. And no, I am not working on this case. I am reporting this case. Okay, Hobble One, I'll have to check it out later. You know, if I have time between this and my next video and the ball game. A couple things have happened today. They released a copy of a video that Sheriff Nanos made recently with one of the local news channels in Tucson, where he's sitting at his desk and he gives a real long interview. And in that interview, I'm just telling you that he said, no one is clear. Do you understand, my friends, what I just said? Sheriff Nanos just recently said, no one is clear. And this is months and months after he said, the family is clear. Now, nobody is clear. Because at the beginning, nobody was clear, but then the family was clear, and now it's back to no one is clear. Those are his words, not mine. Now, obviously, because they haven't solved this case yet, I say nobody is clear. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Bruce. You're too kind. Love April, sweet lady, that so smart and thankful she teaches us. Well, you know, some people get, you know, when they're in the line up in heaven before they come down, some people get the smarts and some people get the looks. I got the smarts. No one is clear after he said, TNA were clear. That sounds like something TNA. Tomato. And his other half. Ann Curry. Another pip. Wow, we got Ann and Bruce and Mostly Dolls Helicopters and Connie and Kelsers. Look at all the pips that are in here. My gosh. If you guys don't know what a pip is, if you become a channel member, then you're part of my PI posse. And the acronym for that is you're a pip. So my members are my pips. He's diverting the focus. He knows who it is. That's a very good comment. That's a possibility. Patricia sent the gold coin. Thank you. Gladys Knight. You know what? I was on a ride-along once in Washington, D.C. with some cop who I think was, let's just say, on something. And we were in like high-speed pursuits in D.C. where there's no freeways. And there was a Gladys Knight and the Pips concert that had just got out, and the streets were full of people. And there we are, red lights and sirens, and I was like 17, and our car was going sideways, and we're trying not to hit all those people. Like, oh my God, I'll never forget that. Kelsers coming in with the first super chat of the day. There's so much going on right now with this, but you're never going to believe what I have in my hand. Ransom note number 1, ransom note number 2, unredacted. The only thing that's redacted is when they put in their name and email address. Please enter your date of birth. Here's the terms and conditions. The entirety of Note 1, the entirety of Note 2. Believed to be written by the same, well, they came from the same IP address. Doesn't mean they were written by the same person, especially, let's say, if the chefs involved in this were 2 people. And then there was the waiter or waiters. And that's why I've always said 3 to 5 people, in my opinion. I do not believe in the lone wolf theory. You could never convince me of that. Catherine B., hello. Oh, excuse me. How can I like burp on a coffee bean and tea leaf decaf? I'm so sorry. I think it's because I have that hole in my stomach. The first note, which Savannah told, remember, Hoda Kotb? That real janky interview, you know, where she said, well, I haven't seen them, but the FBI seems to think that they're real. Let's see. Okay. Kelsa says she agrees 3 to 5 people. That's an educated guess without actually being involved in this case. Because some people have yelled at me here like, how come you can't solve this? Because I'm not working the case. I don't have access to anything more than what you guys have access to. Just for a moment, let me remind you that there are 60 people in the room right now, and I only have 15 thumbs up. Please give this video a thumbs up. Now, here we go. Ransom note number 1. And remember, Whitney, or Brianna Whitney, she released part of it the other day, and they said, oh, here's the full note, but it wasn't exactly the full notes. So this is the full notes. This has been released by the Pima County Sheriff's Department. These are the real things. If you've heard it before, just be patient. But this is the full thing. Thank you for the thumbs up, mostly those helicopters. So I'm going to have to look away from the chat for just a moment. Hello, Savannah. That's telling right there. This is not addressed to the Guthrie family. This is addressed to Savannah. I said from day one, even when she was just considered a missing senior, that this is connected to Savannah Guthrie and that she's probably been kidnapped. I said that from day one, before we knew anything about blood, front porch guy, a struggle in the bedroom, broken lights, missing cameras, before we knew any of this. I said, this is the Savannah Guthrie factor. Because I'm a PI in Hollywood and I've seen these things. This is connected to Savannah for money. Could be revenge, but I think it's money. Hello, Savannah. We have your mother, Nancy. She is safe but scared. She will be held for ransom, and once payment is received, she will be released unharmed. We will be holding her for a maximum of 7 days. You will need to send Bitcoin in the amount of $4 million US dollars before 5 p.m. on Thursday the 5th. If payment is not received, the ransom will be increased to $6 million US dollars, hint, hint, which will need to be paid by 5 p.m. on Monday the 9th. Once payment is received to the Bitcoin address below, she will be released within 12 hours of deposit to a safe drop-off location back in Tucson. That's very telling as well. If payment is not received by the last deadline on Monday the 9th at 5 p.m., she will be killed. Your mother is aware of this, and her life is in your hands. But that statement kind of bothers me because I just went down the spirit box rabbit hole, and even though I don't really believe in that, but if it's true, she said she didn't have any worth. But go see my old videos on that. It is in the best interest of everyone to have this completed as soon as possible. You will not be able to contact me from here on out. There will be no negotiation. Do not play games. Law enforcement will not be able to help you. And then they blacked something out. That's probably the Bitcoin address. She had a white smartwatch on the floor of the foot of her bed. That's very specific, isn't it? And the white floodlight in backyard was destroyed. Now, before they even meet the second deadline, because the first deadline was Thursday the 5th. By the very next day, unbeknownst to the rest of us, but known by the police, TMZ, the local news agencies, and the Guthrie family, there's a second note that comes out on the 6th. And it says, Guthrie family, we did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. She is buried in nature now. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome. We want your family to know this and hope you can all find peace. We are truly sorry. What kidnapper writes a "we're sorry" note? And by the way, the IP address, the email address were exactly the same, or was exactly the same as the first note. So here we need 4 million or 6 million or she will be killed. And before they even get to the second deadline, they're sending a "we're sorry" note. I can't make this up, people. Think about this. It almost sounds like there's the chefs and there's the waiters, who I describe as the goons, the front porch guy, the driver, the people that carried her out of the house. However, hold on. I just saw something on the screen. Do you think Savannah paid some kind of ransom? No. Savannah did say we did our part. I know, but she did not pay any ransom. I'm positive of that. Well, I'm 99.9% positive of that, since I'm not working the case. Seems to me like there's more than one chef in the kitchen. And when you have, let's say, 2 chefs in the kitchen, there's always the head chef, and then there's the co-chef who's kind of following the leader. This could be a case of a head chef and a co-chef who's just going along. And when things didn't work out right, remember the movie Fargo, when you hire criminals? Remember the JonBenet Ramsey case, the chefs and the waiters. Things can go wrong. And it sounds like not the lead chef, but the co-chef, who's just going along with it because the lead chef says so, now is feeling some sort of tremendous guilt, like, we didn't mean for this to happen. But that's taking a very big risk. That's before there's even a potential of a payoff. To send a note like that and say, oops, she's dead, but we didn't mean it. Like, I'm sorry. They actually said they're sorry. What the heck is going on here? This is not the way a legit kidnapping for ransom works. Unless it's someone very, very, very close, as in 75 to 92% of all kidnapping and abduction cases and unaliving cases. It's someone either within the family or a friend or a coworker, a neighbor, or someone who works within the home. It's somebody close to the victim. Okay? This is not some random burglary, robbery, home invasion. Oops, we had the wrong house. We're after the jewel guy. Oops, we went to the wrong house. No. This lady was targeted. There's never been a case in history where someone makes a ransom demand like that. And it's very specific in US dollars. And she's buried in nature? What does that even mean? But to me, it's very telling. I still say, and I've said it from day one, you go after the waiter first, which is front porch guy, because I don't think he's too bright. You go after him first. He sings like a canary. he gets cut a better deal, and it all tumbles down. All the dominoes fall. But you should also play on the emotions of, obviously, the co-chef, who probably is a different person who wrote the letter from the same email and IP address. Because their head is spinning right now like, oh, I can't believe that this has happened. And we didn't even get the money. So Savannah, if you're listening, I doubt you are, but just in case, you keep making those videos. You keep posting. Give a press conference, the biggest press conference that there's ever been. Do what the Boulder Police Department did in the Ramsey case in early February of 1996, where they said, it was early 97, because it happened December 96, and in early 97, they said, the umbrella of suspicion is shrinking. We know who you are. And it was a dog and pony show, because they didn't know anything. And they did that intentionally to push at somebody's emotions. And it worked, because the head chefs went, oops, I think one of our waiters is going to talk. And a day later, maybe 2 at the most, because this was 30 years ago, one of the waiters ends up dead. And the same inept cops that weren't even homicide detectives, they were narcotics detectives who didn't handle the JonBenet case right, they ruled the waiter's death unintentional unaliving. And if you haven't heard about that, go to my video on the death of Linda Hoffman Pugh. I'm not naming suspects, just like I'm not naming suspects in the Nancy Guthrie case. Do one of those press conferences. Scare the bejesus out of the people that are involved. Like, we got you. And this is your last effing chance. You better come forward now. Or you're going to go to the fryer. You're going to go to the electric chair, or you're going to get the needle. And sometimes with the needle, things can go wrong. You better come forward now. Heck, there's $1 million, $1.2 million on the table. Have a family member go turn you in and say, oh, I didn't know that they were going to, make a plan. Get the money or save your hide. And say, oh, but I didn't know this was going to happen. And oh my God, he told me I should do this. This is not some drug cartel. This doesn't even sound like some stalker that was after Savannah. This is somebody who has intimate knowledge of the inside and the outside of that property. I rest my case. Okay, now you guys can speak. I answered that question. Let's see. No, I do not think that Savannah paid the ransom at all, because the FBI told her not to. Thank you, Kelsers. Well, I was making my speech. That's why you're here. Thank you, my friend. Hello, Brian. Kidnappers don't say sorry. Somebody felt sorry because they probably knew Nancy. You know what? Kelsers, you're going to get a horn for that. You might even get 2. Kidnappers don't say sorry. Someone felt sorry because they probably know Nancy. Absolutely. And I never give the hype horn without a super chat or a membership. Just saying. Kelly Ray, hello. Nice to see you in a live finally. Thank you for coming. Schiffer Rose. Hello. I think Front Porch Guy has been killed. Could be, but no evidence of that thus far. Half hawk, half man. 6 months after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, investigators released 2 ransom notes seeking help identifying the writer through linguistic clues. One demanded $4 million in Bitcoin. Another claims she died after the abduction. Evidence suggests the kidnapping was premeditated, but no suspects have been identified. Meanwhile, 2 briefly detained men are seeking $3 million. You must not have seen my video yesterday, half hawk, half man, alleging wrongful arrest. They are not alleging wrongful arrest because they were not detained, or they were not arrested, they were detained. Sorry, my voice is going out from my getting so emotional about this. They were detained. Yeah, the news agencies falsely reported that they were arrested. They were on the side of the road arrested, and the other one was in handcuffs out on the front lawn. Yes, but they were never, nobody has ever been arrested in this case other than Derek Colella. Stacks, welcome in. Where are you coming in from? Schiffer Rose. John Bonet's brother was implicated. Everybody has their own opinion. Abel one says it could be the gardener. Could be. Could not be. Could anyone help me finish my house? You're in the wrong chat. Goodbye. Let's see. I don't want to delete the message. I want to time you out. Goodbye. For the second time. Poppy's post, I think similar to you. Something tells me that they know more than what they're saying because they've had the DNA a long time. Maybe they're trying to flush some people out by easing their minds. I have to agree with that. They don't have a match on the DNA. And all this story that's come out yesterday, like, there is no match. We don't have a suspect. That's nothing new. We already knew that after the rootless hair had been at the lab in Florida for 12 weeks and they couldn't match it with anybody. That so far that has been a useless endeavor. We are back at square one in this case, in my opinion. Sadly, Stacks, you could be right. Kelly says she's hanging in there. That's good. Yep, I said that from the beginning, that I don't have a lot of confidence in this rootless hair strand. Big boss, I can't say that. I'm on a YouTube channel. Maggie, hello, April, and all of the beautiful people late to the party. Harvesting from the garden before the rain. Where are you again, Maggie? Send that rain my way because we're having the worst heat ever this weekend. We're under heat alert and we're also under fire warning. Yeah. I'm so jealous, Maggie. Oh, rain. We need that so bad right now because it's so bad here. It's that awful time of the year. So yeah, 146 people. Wow. And I've only got 26 thumbs up. I believe nothing Nanos says. Pretty much so, Weird Wig. You lie to me once, you lie to me twice, you lie to me thrice. It's this. Now it's this. It's black. It's white. It's apples. It's oranges. It's positive. It's negative. It's yes. It's no. Yeah. Love the rain. Me too. And I'm not really a rain person, but we need it so desperately that I wish the skies would just open up. The rootless hair was probably from the dog. They don't know, and they say it's a mixed sample. There's nothing new. Just because he made a statement yesterday and said, we don't have a suspect based on that hair. There's nothing new that's happened. Maggie, speaking to Kelsa, says, I hope there's more video that wasn't released publicly. I think there is, because DNA seems less than positive. Just started raining in central Alabama. Christy, hello. Welcome in. Yeah, 117 people here. That's amazing. And thank you to all the people that were watching the Jackie videos that hyped that video that I asked people to hype, because something amazing happened from that. And I will talk about that later. Because there's 3 things going on today behind the scenes with my YouTube channel. 3 things have happened. or in the process of happening. So I'm going to just wait to announce it all in one shebang. Yes, I honestly think the case was botched from the jump. Absolutely, Kelsers. Remember, the people that were unofficially or secretly named the prime suspect or suspects were in the house at the time that 911 was called. Not that they had anything to do with it. I'm not saying that they're guilty. But they're still on the FBI's radar, and apparently they're on the sheriff's radar as well. And they were in the house. Then the crime scene got secured, and in under 24 hours, the house was opened up to them. And then it was opened up to the whole world. We are in a thunderstorm warning. Oh. Kelly, also in Alabama. JLE, you know what? You got to stop spamming me with that. Because at first it was funny, but now it's just becoming annoying spam. Yeah, you're starting to spam me because you've asked that every time for the last 180 days of this case. And, people are tired of me having to explain it to you and then you saying, I'm just messing with you. Get a life. Cheryl says, I think the sheriff is involved in some way. It could be, Cheryl, because it like somebody's intentionally messing this up. Yeah, don't encourage them, mostly those helicopters. Weird way to hope it's all good news. Oh, you mean the channel news? Yeah, I'm still a small YouTube channel, but something happened in the middle of the night that is so rare that it would be the same amount of odds to win the lottery. I'd have a greater chance of being struck by lightning than winning a lottery or having what happened in the middle of the night this morning happen. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't even know it was a possibility. Now, sadly, it didn't make me any more money than what a video normally makes, but I'll explain that when I have the other announcements to make. Thank you, Kelsa. She says, everyone like and subscribe. Maggie. Hi, Christy. Love Alabama. Many good people there. Yeah, I used to live there. That's how I met Kelly. And both of us aren't from there, but that's where we met. Drive through Alabama on our way to Florida. That was my favorite part of Alabama, actually, was driving to Florida. Because we weren't from there. But that was my best part. It was when we would drive to, the Redneck Riviera, the panhandle of Florida. Yeah. And I don't call it that, but that's just, the locals call it that. Weirdwig, you're hot and 103 and smoky. Where are you again, Weirdwig? Let me know. Thank you for sending prayers and blessings. Did I see the new update on Jackie? I did a video. I released a video today on yesterday's update. Is there an update today since the one that I released this morning? And by the way, if you didn't see that video, there is an update from yesterday. It's a short update. In fact, I couldn't even make it into an 8-minute video. So even if a million people see it, it's not going to make very much at all. But that's not why I'm doing it. What was the update, Cheryl? Let us know. Feel free to type it in the chat. Because I'll just keep making the videos and I'll keep updating everybody. But yesterday there was a little bit of an update. Idaho. Oh, wow. That would be nice. Because I bet you get a change of seasons in Idaho. Yeah. And that's a state I've never been to. But it looks beautiful. Kelser says, I wonder if Luke Daly was involved. Everything is on the table. Kelly, you know what? I'd have to agree with that as number 2. My favorite part was driving to New Orleans. Yes, we did that a lot as well. And it was hot and muggy and kind of gross outside, but there was more to see and do there. And I remember they had a really nice zoo there. Like Idaho, nice place, says Bruce Davis. Where are you coming in from, Bruce? I try to remember. Like, I know Kelser's is in Kansas, and I know Kelly's in Alabama, and Weirdwig's in Idaho. But, you know, I'm growing my channel too, so. Oh, and gold panning too. Ah! Do they have good doctors there? Good oncologists and cardiologists? Because I might have to, that would be one of the places that if I absolutely had to move, I would consider. But I don't have enough disability income to qualify. So it would be kind of tough in the wintertime to be like, you know, homeless in Idaho. You're the Bruce that lives in the Philippines. Now I'm in Seattle. Oh, okay. Poppy's Post, South Carolina. That's where my cousin is, down in Myrtle Beach. Oh, I know where that is. There's a YouTuber I follow from Murrells Inlet. I have a 13-hour trip back to Ohio from Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. Well, drive careful. I remember the good old days when I could like drive across the country like that. That won't happen in the rest of my lifetime, probably. I'm here until 7 and going back home to the Philippines. You mean 7 tonight or 7 like August 7th? I've never been to the Philippines, but I know they have some really beautiful beaches there. Nice people, too. One of my doctors is from the Philippines. August 7th, okay. Then what are you doing in Seattle, Bruce? I hope you still watch me when you get to the Philippines. Were you watching me from the Philippines before, or have you always been watching me from Seattle? It's so cool meeting people from all over the world. Maggie, there's a lot of nice people from various states in this chat. We don't always agree, but we can be civil and often learn from each other. That's why I'm here. Great. Agreed. Came back to see my dad. I watched you from the Philippines. Okay, now I'm starting to remember. This is a decaf coffee bean and tea leaf drink. I got it on the way back from paying my mailbox bill. And apparently since I, woke up in the last couple of days, I found out that my, last year I had a $2,000 copay on my pharmacy, which I don't have. This year, unbeknownst to me, it went up to $2,100. And apparently, I don't even want to say the name, but apparently somebody's done something. And next year, what should have been a $2,000 copay, now a $2,100 copay, is going to jump to a $2,400 copay. And I've already had to go off one of my medications that I had to pay for earlier this year, even though I couldn't take it anymore, and that was $800. I might have to try to live without my blood thinner, like seriously. And if my AFib comes back, which it has in the past, I will stroke out, maybe while I'm on the air, and just go boom. That'll be it. There's going to be a lot of people that are seniors or people that are disabled, like myself, that probably won't survive 2027 if they have to pay that $2,400 copay. I can't even believe it. I can't believe what has happened to what I thought was the best country in the world. No longer think that. Just curious, what do you think Savannah meant when she said we've done our part? That's a very good question. That's a lot of people are talking about that. We've done our part. I don't want to put words into her mouth that, I think it was very scripted. I think the FBI was involved in what she said in that statement. But what did that mean? It could have meant because we offered the reward. The chef possibly wrote the second one. Cheryl, you sent it to me. What did you send me, Cheryl? Kelly Ray. I know you're on a limited income too, Kelly. You don't need to do that, but thank you. Very, very rare, but I had some coupons in the app, and they have a healthy breakfast sandwich that I wanted to get. That's the big bill passed, and now people can't afford health care. Pray that changes. Look above. Okay, let me look above. What am I supposed to see? I see Cheryl said yes. Look above. I sent it to you. I don't know what you're talking about, Cheryl. Look above. I'm looking at the other screen too. I don't see anything. Yeah, Kelly sent a super chat. The only other... Is there a super chat that didn't show up on my screen? I see Kelly's, and I got Kelser's. Yeah, I've only got 2. Unless YouTube is glitching or something. It's above mostly posts. I think she's talking about the super chat. Yeah, I just got one from Kelly and Kelser's. Now, YouTube, sometimes they have glitches. Yeah, I just have 2, if that's what you're talking about. And I don't see any more jewels that have recently popped up on the screen. You can always send me a private email if you want at aprildavispi@gmail.com. Kelly, did you send 2 super chats? No, she sent 1 and Kelser sent 1. We answer and you're back in the chat. It was there before hers. I only see Kelly Ray. And thank you, Kelly. Let me heart that. Everybody give Kelly Ray a thumbs up on her super chat. Same thing for Kelser's. Love talking to you all. I'm going to heart that. I only have the 2. It could be, I've seen it happen once where somebody gave a super chat during the live and it disappeared. Her red blood work is up. Don't know what we're talking about. Jill says, welcome in, Jill. I don't get it. Why was she taken in the first place? Money. Okay, Cheryl, I don't know what you're talking about here. I'm going to have to move on from this. If you want to send me a private email and explain what you mean. You keep saying to look up, look up. And now we're talking about blood cells. I don't know where this is not about Nancy Guthrie. She did send a super chat. I saw it. Okay, it could be a YouTube issue. Let me go on the back end, Cheryl. Let me check. Because I can go to my studio and go to analytics. And I can go actually to earn. And I can click supers and gifts. And yeah, just Kelser's and Kelly. It could be a glitch. I'm sorry, Cheryl. I never asked people to send money for Jackie. I'm not allowed to collect for Jackie. In fact, some people have asked me that on the Jackie videos, can you post the links to the Ojai Raptor Center into FOBBV? And I can't do that because I can't put third-party links. So hopefully you weren't charged. You can always contact YouTube. But yeah, there's no other super chat on my computer screen or on my... Okay, I was just updating you that there was a new video. Okay, Cheryl, we've wasted too much time with this. I don't know what you're talking about. And no, I have not asked you to donate for Jackie. And you can't put any links on the screen because you're not a moderator. So when you say to look up, there's nothing to see, Cheryl. Okay, we're just going to move on. Sorry, everybody, for the interruption. Yeah, I'm confused too, Bruce. Let's move on. Kelser says, it's so strange. If money was the motive, you would think they would have taken the reward money by now. I know, unless, you know, if you took it, you might have to reveal to the cops that you know about it because you're involved somehow with that person. That could get you in trouble too. Especially like if you were the spouse. Okay, something just fell out of my pocket and hit the floor. Oh, it was a lipstick. I'm like, what was that? Yes, Bruce, we are moving on from that. I've had people that have come in and say, I just sent you $200. Didn't see it. And if YouTube didn't see it, it didn't happen. That's why I have two screens going at the same time. And I have my studio in the background. Okay. Luther, welcome in. Where are you coming in from, Luther? I haven't seen you before. It could get complicated, Kelsers, because, like I said, maybe the only people that would know who did it are people that are in the inner circle, and they could implicate themselves by filing for the reward. Although, supposedly you can collect the award anonymously, but I don't know how that would work. That you could, just anonymously collect $1.2 million and it wouldn't be traceable to you. I just pray Nancy is found soon. Me too. Absolutely. 100%, Kelsers. She says, and I think Savannah Guthrie knows more than we know. Absolutely. And she has from the very first week. A lot of the things that she has said and done have been very calculated by the FBI and lawyers in the background. This is what you're going to say. This is what you're going to do. And let me tell you, the people that are involved in this, they're not stupid, not all of them. Some of them are just, the goons. But the chefs, they're not that stupid. They know. Oh, they know that she knows. This is not going to be, we're going to solve this case and everybody's going to be surprised and go, oh, who is that? Like, oh my God, I was totally wrong about all of this. Like, Weirdwick says, Kels, I agree. Yes. Emerald Eyes, welcome in. 100% Kelsers. She gets the 100. That's the kicker we all know. Maybe. They obviously just don't have the evidence to prove it. And you might be able to go with a theory that the police, I don't know, this is a very strong accusation, and this is only a possibility. This is speculative, as Nanos says. But somebody within that department may know more than they're letting on and may be actually covering for somebody. It's a possibility. Why would you release a crime scene like that? Why would you say that you called the FBI on the very first day and the FBI says they weren't called in until the 5th? You can't even get law enforcement on the same page. You know, most cases you don't have the sheriff's department plus the police department as a backup for information, because everybody they're bringing in Tucson, whether it's the sheriff's department or the police department, they're all asking everybody they arrest, like, hey, do you know anything about the Nancy Guthrie case? And then you have the FBI, and then you had the backup assistance from the Border Patrol with the dogs the first couple of nights. Like, you got all these specialty labs involved, and there's nothing? Savannah is a frustrating person. How so? Explain that. Kelsa says, yes, someone is definitely covering for somebody. How do they not know? You know, there's so many red flags and there's so many coincidences. And as a PI, when we're out doing a case, and you see these coincidences pop up, then at some point the light goes off in your head and you're like, oh, okay, now I get it. Because sometimes when you go out to get intel or you're doing a surveillance, instead of getting answers right away, on rare cases, sometimes you get more questions than answers because there's all these distractions going on. And you have to kind of get to the bad guy by process of elimination. Hey, Kathy Doherty, one of my pips. Thanks for coming. The longer it takes, the more we lose our patience with the family. Still, explain it if you want. You don't have to, but Savannah is a frustrating person. I don't think Savannah's making these statements on her own. That everything has been very scripted and very planned. Especially that this latest statement was released while she's been in England working on Wordle. You missed the first 53 minutes, Kathy. But you can always see it on the replay. I still want to know where Annie and Tommaso are. Even if there's just a logical explanation. I'd like to know where they are. It's none of my business, but I'd still like to know. It's none of our business, but wow, I just hit 69.22. Getting closer to that 7K mark, which is crazy because in a week it went from 36K to 4K to 5K to 6K, and I'm almost at 7K. But there's two bigger things that have happened more than, because 7K subscribers after 5 years and 7 months on YouTube, that's nothing. That's terrible. But the other two things that have happened today, because we're not at 7K yet, but there's two other things that have happened that I think we're going to have to talk about it tomorrow, or I'm going to have to release some sort of a video on it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Or maybe I just won't make a big deal about it at all. Because, like I said, after 5 years and 7 months, we're only at 69.22. But it has made a giant leap from 36.60 to that in like a week's time. Weird way. I don't think the family thought it would have this much publicity and for Nancy to meet her maker. Very possible. You know, believe it or not, somebody really did want to kidnap John Benet Ramsey. It really was a planned kidnapping. And I think I know the chefs, and I know one of the waiters. It's never going to be solved because of mistakes that were made on day one. And this could be the same thing with Nancy Guthrie. I'm sad to say that because I want to be hopeful. I want to be positive. I want to look at the glass as half full. This is the biggest case they've ever had, like in years and years and years. They have to solve this case. But the mistakes that were made in the very first days, you cannot backpedal and fix the damage that caused. Kelsers, I heard Pima County has like 6 different labs working on DNA. Yes, we talked about some of that yesterday. What DNA? You cannot corrupt DNA that many times if they are taking about the same, or if they are talking about the same DNA as they are testing. Exactly. Every time you do a test, it degrades that sample. And the first lab couldn't get anything out of that. Or do they have more DNA than just a strand of hair? I would hope so, but apparently maybe not. That could be it. And I said that from day one. If that's all they got, this case is in trouble. Go back on all the videos where I've said that. If that's all they have is that rootless hair strand, we're in big trouble. She's lived in that house for more than 50 years. She lived there since 1975. Of course there's going to be hair in the bedroom. There's going to be hair all over that house. And when you live in that house, you're going to transfer that DNA from room to room. Oh my God, I get so emotional about this. But this is an 84-year-old woman. My God. It's so sad that her life had to end this way. And wonder if it's true that all these red flags and coincidences that are in this case, that they really do mean something. And it is going to be something horrible and terrible, more terrible than it already is. No roots so harder to identify. Exactly, Kelly. Most of the DNA is in the root of the hair. And then you have it mixed. Well, what's it mixed with? Now they're saying it could be 4 to 5 people that it's mixed with. Like when they made this announcement yesterday, and they're like, breaking news, and all the big YouTubers, boots on the ground, clickbaity type of channels are like, it's breaking news, oh my God. No, it's not. We've already known that they don't have a match from the DNA. Planned sheriff flub-ups. Are you calling me a cow? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Goodbye. Oh my gosh. I don't want to delete you. I want to take... Why does it always do that when I'm trying to... I'm not trying to delete somebody. Brian Horde, welcome. Hello. Ain't nobody's queen. Oh. It just makes you think about, I've had cases involving, I've had 2 situations in my career that involved local police departments, and it wasn't LAPD, but local smaller police departments that had corruption. And it goes very, very deep. And it's sad for the deputies that are not corrupt, that are just hardworking, honest people, that they have to work underneath a system that could be corrupt. Remember, money makes the world go round. If A and T are innocent, why don't we know where they are? Well, there could be a very logical explanation, because we don't know who did this. Apparently the police don't know who did this. The FBI, they don't know who did this. They could be under threat, especially their child, especially because 80 to 85% of the general population believes that they had some involvement in this crime. Now, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Everybody here is innocent until proven guilty, but they may be in hiding for their own safety. Hi from Folsom, 104. Wow. That's in Northern California. Hi, Kimmy. If it was my mom and I was under threat, I would be coming out shouting my innocence. Of course. So would I. And I'd be screaming from the tallest mountain, like, help us find our mother. Even if I thought a family member was involved. Those are some hard questions for Savannah, like, because I'm sure they, have interviewed her. I would hope so. To see what she knew about some of the people close to her. But there's so many other possibilities here. Just because it's somebody close to her doesn't mean that it's family. And the person that I have as front porch guy, or someone that's in the background that's connected to front porch guy, is not a family person. But that doesn't mean that the chefs aren't family. But the boots on the ground, or the goons in this crime, they're not family. There's a lot of possibilities. There are. And if the family's not involved, then I hope they do. Like, for everybody's sake, they catch somebody and those people are cleared, and then they can just sue the bejesus out of everybody who accused them. But in the meantime, where the heck are they? Why are they in hiding? Yeah, they're in hiding. They're not just, their whereabouts are unknown. They are in hiding. Why hasn't he taught at the school for at least a year? Why was their car being detained by law enforcement for 41 days? Why was there more CSI work done at their house 10 minutes away than from the actual scene of the crime at Nancy's house? Hiding to me is a sign of guilt. It could be a security issue, although I don't like the body language when they covered their heads and their faces. That showed deception, deceit, and shame. Why? I'd be running up to those cameras like, help me find my mom. Time is of the essence. Yes, security's there too. There should be security there. Everybody in that neighborhood should have security right now, because we don't know who's involved in this and why. Exactly, Lisa. Too many possibilities. Are you asking me, Kimmy, if I lived in Folsom, or are you asking somebody in the chat? Now, I've never lived in Folsom. I think she's talking to somebody in the chat. Excuse me for trying to keep hydrated on a very hot day. Yeah. Well, I'm at 64 minutes here, and we basically talked about everything we're going to talk about with Nancy. Hopefully I do have some very good, YouTube news to report. It might be not interesting to you guys, but it's interesting to me. Pauline sent the gold coin. Thank you, Pauline Stansberry. Were you the one in the chat earlier that was asking? Who was asking me earlier in the chat how to send a jewel? And by the way, I don't think we missed a super chat here, but if we did, that person can contact YouTube. Because I get suspicious when someone was saying that I was asking for money for Jackie. No, I can't do that. In fact, I've told anybody that sent me messages like, how come you're not putting up the links? Because I can't do that. I cannot collect money for other people on my YouTube channel. Remember they said they had a guy walking around possibly looking in windows. You mean recently in the Catalina foothills? We do know from this crime that Tucson is a much more dangerous place than I would have ever suspected it to be. Because I look at it as a small town, kind of like Mayberryville. But, you know, it seems to have more of a bigger city feel to it now, doesn't it? With the homelessness and the drugs, and you do have to factor in the proximity to the Mexican border and all the illegal points of entry. But I don't think that's why this particular case has happened. Emerald Eyes, don't quite understand the link thing because I watch lots of YouTube channels that give links to other channels and such. I'm not being argumentative. I would just like to know. Yeah, I could put my mod or myself could put a link to another YouTube channel, but I cannot on my channel put up a link asking for money for some other organization. That's it. I'd be gone. Not only would I wouldn't just get demonetized, they'd take my channel down. And for all the people that are like, well, other people are showing the video from FOBBV. I don't own that video. Go to their site. They don't allow anybody to use their video. And they haven't enforced it. And remember, their leader is dead. But at some point, that organization is going to need to make some money. The hammer's going to fall. I can't use anybody else's video without their permission. And I can't be collecting money for people. Oh. Obviously, you don't follow this, do you, BH? We won't even... Oh my gosh. Oh. Other channels can do whatever they want. Remember the one channel that has like the 30-minute intro and they flash the pictures of, I can use these videos because of Fair Use Act. No, you can't. Is that argument, you'll lose every time. Hopefully that person has another job, because when the YouTube channel gets taken down or they get demonetized and they have to remove most of those videos that got them in trouble, and then they have to get their watch hours all over again, trust me, I've already been through that. And YouTube will tell you when you load it like you've passed the checks, but it doesn't mean shit, to tell you the truth. So, nope, not going to use anybody else's stuff. Just not going to. Not going to use stock photos. You can't even use a stock photo on eBay. You can lose your eBay account. Putting a stock, like if I wanted to use this, I wanted to sell this button, and I used a registered stock photo of this. It wasn't my own picture. They could take the listing down and close my account. You can email me anytime, Kelsers. It's always so interesting to hear what you have to say, April. I want to email you every time I hear something, but I know we're both busy. I may not be able to answer it, but I do see as many emails as I can. But I'm still getting people that are sending me links to 3 to 4 hour videos, and I don't have time to watch an extra 3-minute video right now. It's sure a learning curve on YouTube. Yeah, I've been here for 5 years and 7 months, and I'm still this small, although I have had some major accomplishments this week. some of which I've already talked about, some of which I haven't. What brought the initial interest in the two individuals, Carlos and Luke? Well, see, they don't know why it was Carlos, but I think it was because of two things. Because he was a delivery person in Tucson and his phone pinged in the area, or one of his cars got tagged by an LPR, plus the fact that he had a father or has a father of the exact same name, different age, obviously different person, and that person is on the registered S offender list. So you had, there could have been a mix-up. He even said that because of something to do with my father, without throwing his father under the bus on television. But remember, he would drive up every day from Rio Rico, Monday through Friday, to do deliveries. And I think that Luke, there's two reasons that Luke could have been looked at. Either because KD, and that's all I'm going to say, KD said something while she was getting put back into the slammer. Either she said something, because those warrants came out the very next day, or it had something to do with the car that Luke was driving. Or he could be a suspect. He could just flat out be a suspect for another reason. Luke is sus, but I think he's too big to be front porch guy. Exactly. He is not front porch guy. I would never believe it. He's too stocky. FP is front porch guy, Kelly. Luke is definitely not front porch guy. Now, could Luke be involved in another way? Sure. But is he? Maybe not. He was really nervous in his interview, though, but I would be too if people were accusing me of kidnapping and murder. But his mother wasn't truthful either completely in her interview, which was kind of a red flag to me that she wasn't truthful in her interview. He claims that he's on the up and up now, but people like LD, they're what I call lifers. And he'll be right back in the slammer probably this August when he has his trial. Allegedly, Carlos's vehicle had come up on a geofence warrant because he was delivering in the area. Exactly. And then if they got that name, they ran the plate and it came back to Carlos Alberto Palazuelos, and they went, Carlos Alberto Palazuelos, oh, there's a convicted felon in Tucson. That's Carlos Palazuelos, who's a registered S offender. Not the same guy, but a familiar connection. So I think it was a combination of things. They immediately, jumped to the wrong conclusion. But, hang in there, Carlos, because you're going to have a few coins coming your way. And the taxpayers of Tucson, sadly, they're going to have to pay for that. It's going to come out of their pockets. But, maybe they shouldn't have voted for Nanos multiple times. I think it's crazy that KD was able to drive a Range Rover, considering she had nothing before NG is missing. I didn't know that KD was driving a Range Rover. I know that LD was driving a Range Rover, but not for very long. If you see the suspect video, go to my pinned comments, because I added something to that video, but I couldn't change the video, so I put something in the pinned comments the exact day that Range Rover was purchased. This is about a little bit of everything, but right now we're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That was supposed to say LD, not KD. Let me go back. Well, remember, Luke Daly had a car, a Dodge Charger, that was wrecked around the same time that all of this happened. And he and Mama went in with a cashier's check, which is basically the same as cash. But instead of bringing in the dollar bills, you go to the bank and you get a cashier's check, and it's basically the same thing as cash. That's why his mama was with him. Because, however, how old was he? 38? Something like that? 39, 40? However old he is, he still needs his mama to hold his hand. So yeah, he didn't pay for that out of his own pocket. Mama wrote that check. That was a false rumor, Kelsers, that Kayla Day and Nancy Guthrie were related in some weird way. Yeah, the rumor was that it was her dead husband, Charles Guthrie's grandniece, and that it was Nancy's grandniece, and it was Savannah's, cousin once removed, and that's not true at all. But both the Guthrie family, meaning the parents, and Kayla Day's family, I guess, are both from Kentucky. But they're not related. That rumor has been shot down. But yet, I've never seen Savannah Guthrie go on the air and say, hey, we're not related to her. But who was the mama who bought? That would be Mary Daly. Go see my suspect video. She was over at MG Motors in Tucson with the cashier's check to help Luke buy the Range Rover while his car sat in her driveway with the cover over the front, waiting for the insurance company to come tow it. It was towed a few days after the raid, and the cops never took that car. And that was very telling to me, that they detained, not arrested, but detained Luke Daly, detained Mary Daly, raided her house, took Luke Daly's Range Rover, and even covered it with a yellow tarp as if there was a body in it, and did not take the wrecked Dodge Charger with the custom wheels that were sitting in Mary's driveway. They weren't interested in that car. They were only interested in the Range Rover. ABC News says, think she is DEAD. Do you mean Nancy Guthrie? Yes. Is LD even gainfully employed? I don't know. Sandy Greer, welcome back. Always think of Cindy Greer, who was my favorite teacher growing up. But I know you're no relation. I just like your name. Innocent until proven guilty, but LD is so sus. He is sus. Just look at his lengthy criminal history. But it doesn't mean that he's involved in this. But do see my video about the suspects and the 6 degrees of separation. Even if you've seen it before and you haven't seen it in a while, go back to square one. See that video. Kirsty McFadden, or McFadden, sent the gold coin. Thank you. Thank you, Kirsty. Oh, I should reset that. It says start. It's blinking at me again. I'll just put it for 15 minutes. Just so it'll stop blinking at me. Let me reset the amount to 0. There we go. Thanks for coming back, Kirsty. Yeah, all those little jewels add up. I'm up to $2.10 in jewels today. If the police were waiting to solve this case based on that rootless hair, I said months ago, we're in big, big, big trouble if that's what this case hedges on. No, Kelly, that's a good question. That's a very good question. If people become members of your channel, does it mean the ads are gone? No, the only way you could get rid of the ads would be to be a premium member, and not a member of me, but a premium member of YouTube. But I wouldn't waste my money on that. If you're a member, you get all the things that each level has. There's silver level, there's gold level, there's platinum level. If you're at just the very bottom starter level, you get the custom emojis. And then if you're at the gold level, you get a little more access to my social media. And I haven't determined the platinum level yet because I only have one. And I have to figure out what to do for that. Joelle, hi April, you are a funny actress. I'm not ready to be a pip, but I get energetic listening to you, so I am a pep on your team. Thank you. Are you a cheerleader, Joe Wells? I'm not an actress, though. This is it. What you see is what you get. Didn't one of the Bitcoin emails come back to A&T or something like that? They don't know who sent the Bitcoin emails, which is very shocking to me. But I am funny. Well, thank you, Pauline. The case would be solved if they could prove that. Like, where do the Bitcoin emails come from? And speaking of that, several weeks ago, because it took forever to get to me, I did buy my Tangem wallet. But before you can set it up, you've got to go onto an exchange like Coinbase. That's like one of the bigger ones, and actually purchase the Bitcoin before you can transfer it into your hard wallet, so that it's not on the chain. It's like it's protected, like in like a little device that's the size of this. So, and it wasn't easy because they give you a backup one where you can pay for one backup or two backups, and they'll all have the same thing in case you lose one of those hard cards. Because if you lose the hard card, you've lost your Bitcoin, right? So they give you backups, and you have to have a seed phrase and a username and all that. But then you got to go set up on like an exchange where you actually buy the Bitcoin, and you can also trade stocks on that and all kinds of things you can do on that. But you can't do it until like when you put the money into the account, it has to clear first through the bank. And I'm like, I don't understand this. Like, huh? Like, I thought I could just buy the Bitcoin and I didn't have to put cash in the account. Well, apparently I could have just bought the Bitcoin, but it has to clear for an amount of time before you can transfer it into the wallet. So now I've got everything fixed that's cleared through the bank. And tonight I'm going to transfer that into the wallet. And by setting up just the Coinbase, you can get they'll give you up to so much free Bitcoin. Like I got $14 in 4 different types of Bitcoin besides the Bitcoin that 4 different types of cryptocurrency besides the Bitcoin I bought. They gave me some Bitcoin and they gave me 3 other types of crypto. And it was just free. They're like, here, just for signing up, it was free. And I am allowed to I can put a referral link, like I have my eBay link, I have my whatnot link. I can put that referral. In fact, I'm going to do that tonight. I can put that on my channel on the main page under my bio. And hey, if you sign up to this, you could get up to whatever. Because that's not asking for a donation. That's just like, hey, if you want to go join whatnot, and they'll give you $25 free to spend. And then it's not 15 anymore, it's 25 now. But this crypto exchange, if you can, refer people into them and then you sign up, they in so many days, it takes about a week, at random, they'll just throw free cryptocurrency into your account. It's kind of like when you sign up for a Robinhood, and I've done that, and I've referred several people to that, and then you get a free stock, that you didn't have to pay for. It just goes into your account. So that's something I need to do. But tonight I'm actually going to transfer it into the wallet. And you just do that by tap on the back of the phone, just tap. and then you just put in your code, and it gives you like your own Bitcoin address. Because I wanted to see what that looks like now that we've been talking about this with the Nancy Guthrie case. Like everybody has a specific address, and the address is like, it's like 100 letters and numbers and symbols long. Or they also give you like a QR code, like somebody can just scan your QR code, or you have this huge address. There's no way you'd be able to memorize it, so you have to cut and paste it, like send it to this person or send it to this wallet. It's not as complicated as it sounds, but I'm still learning. But no, they do not know the identity of any of the emails or the IP addresses that the ransom letters came from. Sounds too complicated. It really isn't, but watch some YouTube videos. I'm still learning it. But tonight I'm going to take the next step, and I'm going to transfer it out of the coin exchange into my hard wallet. And it's weird because some of the vendors I do business with, like, I haven't bought the gold pay dirt in a long time, but one of my vendors that's in Colorado, and he's like he's got his own gold mine, and not just a claim, but he's got an actual gold mine, and he's got a big YouTube channel. He'll always say, like, when you make a purchase from him, if you go on the website rather than Amazon or eBay, if you buy one of his pay dirt bags, and you can pay him in Bitcoin rather than just on a credit card where he has to pay fees on. And you do have to pay fees on Bitcoin payments and withdrawals as well, but it's small compared to a credit card or a banking like wire transaction fee, that you'll get like a percentage of a discount on any product you buy off his website if you pay him in Bitcoin. And I'm like, oh wow, it'd be cool to have a Bitcoin address, because occasionally I buy from that guy. And instead of paying with my credit card or my bank account, I could just pay with Bitcoin, and I'll get a significant discount on the product. Like, that's cool. Sounds like a complicated process that would be more likely utilized by younger people. Probably. Pauline, I'm technically sterile. I'm not a big techie person either, but being a PI, I've had to keep up with everything, because we started out in the old days with Super 8 film, and then we had to learn how to edit the film and splice the film. And then it moved up to these. We had the prototypes from Sony of the very first handycams that were ever made in the world. And our PI company that I worked for had 8 of them. We had the only 8 in the world to test them. And then eventually, things went to VHS size tape. Then they went to the smaller tape. There's so many of them, I can't even remember. Then it went to the regular, the big cassette, then the smaller one, then the teeny ones, and then it went to hard drive, where it was on your memory card, like SD card. Now everything is digitized. So I've had to learn all that. It's not that complicated, especially if you just watch some YouTube videos as this is how you set this up. If I had OBS where I could actually show you my screen and I knew how to work OBS, I could do a video on that and say, hey, this is how I did it. But I'm not enough of an expert yet where I think I could make a YouTube video on that. Maybe I will in the future, because it's really not that hard. And it was really cool that because, every time you sign up for one of these things, they throw like free Bitcoin at you. Yes, Kelly Ray, I'm old. In the future, there will be no paper money. So, like, seriously. Everything will be digitized in the future. Mary says, I think it is A&T for sure. Everybody here is innocent until proven guilty. And when it's digitized, it can be faked. Could be. But that's why they have all the safety protocols set up. And it's better to have the money, or it's not even money, it's cryptocurrency off the exchange and in your hard wallet. But that's, Wonder if your house burns down and your hard wallet goes with it. You know, you better have a backup hard wallet that's in a fireproof safe. Abel, hello. And, you know, I'm obviously not wealthy, so I won't have enough money on there to have to worry about it if something happened to it. Because I'm sure when I'm dead, nobody's going to know, like, how to access that crypto wallet and get those funds. I'm not talking money, I'm talking everything else. If FBI could have been there from day one, I think this case would be solved. Well, I don't think the FBI would have allowed the crime scene to be unsecured. But remember, they didn't know from day one that it was a kidnapping. They thought they had a missing senior. But yet the deputies on the scene thought there was more than just a missing senior. It wasn't just a silver senior alert. Like, no, there's blood at the scene, and there's evidence that someone was taken. Hello, Marcy. I'm so glad to see you in here, Kelly. I hope that means that you're feeling better today. I have so many medicals in like August and September. I don't even want to think about it until Monday, and then I'm going to have to start scheduling all the tests that are not already scheduled. So when I go to these appointments, I can say, okay, I did this, I did that. Now where do we go from here? Family disappearing makes them look guilty. Well, that could just be chalked up to security. Yeah. But, wow, so many pips came in here today. There was a lot of you guys. Kelsers, you were the first one here. Always appreciate you, my friend. Who else? There were so many pips that came in today. And of course, a lot of you guys will watch on the replay. Yeah, I can't scroll that far back on my screen. Can I do it on my desktop? There was a lot of pips. Oh, Bruce was here. Kathy Doherty was here. Bruce Davis is no relation to me, but that's pretty cool. Mostly Dolls Helicopters was here from Canada. Yeah, quite a few of you in here today. That's so cool. Oh, Ann Curry was here. I knew I was forgetting somebody. Oh, and Connie. Oh, she's one of my favorites. Connie was here too. Yes, having a better day. I know, Kelsers, it's keeping me awake at night. I've never had my sleep schedule go back to anything close to normal since this happened, and it's only getting worse. This case is making me crazy. Yep, I appreciate you as well, April. It is making me crazy. I feel like I know this family now, and I've never met them. School will be starting soon. A&T will be back. One of the Nanos guys admitted T was the #1 suspect. That's what I have heard. Because remember, Ashley Banfield, when she first said that he was a suspect at the very beginning of this case, that was through a federal law enforcement source who she has never identified, which I wouldn't either if I was a reporter. But now this other source is coming from within inside the sheriff's department, who, by the way, is still the lead agency on the Nancy Guthrie case. The FBI is involved, but they are not the lead agency. And that's the scary part, because it seems like the sheriff's department has done everything they can to, like, sway this case in a different direction. Speculatively speaking. Allegedly speaking. Mostly Doll says, I am a pip. Yeah, somebody needs to get home, get their butt home, and get to work. I mean, who's paying their mortgage? And I've said this before. I hope Savannah's not opening up her pockets to everybody at this time. Because that's not your job, Savannah. Now, obviously, if she's paying her mom's expenses while this whole mess is going down, I can understand that. You know, my My phone screen must be way behind my computer screen, because I'm getting pop-ups on that I'm not getting on. That's so weird. Oh, Mostly Dolls Helicopter sent a gold coin. Thank you. Appreciate that. There it is. Speculatively speaking, I know that's my new favorite word. It's not really a new word, but it is my favorite word since this case started. Speculatively. Remember, everybody on my channel is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Even if they arrest somebody on this case, I can't just get on the air and go, they got someone and he's guilty. I know I can't say that, because justice still needs to, the wheels of justice still need to turn. Everybody deserves a proper trial. And I would suggest whoever that person is that goes down first, that they get themselves the highest profile defense attorney in the country. Get yourself a deal. You could be doing that right now. If you're involved in this, you could go to a defense attorney and say, hey, I want to work something out. You could also, if you were a witness or you knew something and you wanted that reward money and you didn't want to get in trouble, you could go to an attorney and say, listen, I know something about this case and I want to work out a deal to get a portion of this reward. And this is what I'm willing to say, but I want immunity. I want to be protected. Go for it. Call Bart Garagos and say, hey, I want to work something out. When April, when someone is finally arrested, I'm emailing you first. I can't wait for that email, Kelsers. Okay, Jason says Ashley Banfield used to be a credible journalist, but now she's just desperate, has been trying to stay relevant. Maybe. Emerald Eyes. For me, everyone is a suspect until officially eliminated. Yes, and apparently all of a sudden no one's been eliminated. Respect Importance sent the high five, and it's throwing up the custom channel emojis. Yeah, there's 12 now. And I looked last night, I would have to have another 21 paid members on top of what I've already got to be able to get any more custom emojis. So it looks like it's just going to be the 12 for a very long time. Respect Importance. Oh my gosh. Hello. Yeah, we're almost ready to go off the air here, Respect. Trying to very carefully tap the screen. I do not want to start another goal. Yeah, wow, 25 people still here. Everybody, thank you for coming in. Thank you for the super chats. Nice to see you again, Kelly Ray. Thank you for the jewels. Keep watching. Make sure you're watching the long form videos too. Feel free to go hype any of these videos. It helps. I'm sorry I'm late. It's been a long day on the farm. The horses have kept me busy. That sounds fun. It's been a long day here too, just because it's so friggin' hot outside. And I had to go pay my mailbox bill. And then, that wasn't cheap. That was about $200. And then after that, I had to use a chisel almost to get all the mail out, and it's all bills. I remember the old days when, I had, a 6-figure business and people used to send checks in the mail, and it was always so fun going to the mailbox to see how many checks I'd get. Those days are long gone. Thank you for keeping me busy. Well, thank you guys for coming. And thank you to all those that hyped that one. I know several of the videos have been hyped, but there was one video that was especially hyped that caused something pretty incredible to happen on my channel, where the chances are so slim to none, it would be like the chances of winning the big lotto. So I'll talk about that soon. And by midnight tonight, when the views counter finally straightens itself out, I'm going to have a huge announcement to make. Okay, 100 minutes, gone too far today. Gonna go hydrate, get something to eat, hopefully watch my ball game. The air is still kind of chugging along. I don't know if it'll make it through tomorrow. Pray we don't have any fires or catastrophic quakes during this period where we all need our electricity and we need our AC. Okay, thanks for coming. And hashtag justice